Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
Well, the majority of the first round of the BMW PGA Championship took place at Wentworth Club today. That was before, of course, the sad news that was announced, the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Play was suspended immediately, with several players still out on the golf course, and is, as far as we know, suspended through Friday right now as well. Here are how things stand through the holes that were played. Most of the field, as I mentioned, did get their opening rounds completed, but some, as you can see, Rasmus Højgaard still with one hole to play when play was suspended to mark this truly historic occasion. Hovland, Fleetwood and Sullivan tied on top right now at 8 under par after some sensational opening rounds of 64. But earlier in the week, there was much talk around some of the tension surrounding the world of golf right now, and our Rex Hoggard has the report.
The narrative all week here at Wentworth has been about the 18 LIV golfers who are in the field at the DP World Tour's flagship event. On Thursday, many of those players talked for the first time about the reception they've received here, as well as the vitriol that's gripped professional golf. Honestly, even the guys that have said some stuff, they've been really nice to me when I see them. So I feel like it's pretty normal. I was maybe expecting a little bit different, but no, it's been nice. Everybody's been very nice to me. The fans have been amazing, and yeah, I mean, everything has been pretty normal. One of those players that was critical was Billy Horschel. Have you had a chance to talk to him or see his comments at all? Haven't seen him really. No, I haven't talked to him this week at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to stay away from all that noise and just play some golf.
It's been absolutely fine. Look, I'm not really going to say an awful lot about it. My phone number hasn't changed at all. I have spoke to a few of the boys. Doesn't seem to be a problem from my time that I've been talking to them. And, you know, we can always play this game of he said, she said, and, you know, petty comments. And it's just easier if I don't say anything. It makes it easier on everyone, to be honest. So I'm not going to say anything.
Along those lines, and I know you don't want to say anything, however, are you surprised at the level of vitriol between players, not on social media or with the public, but between players? It seems like it has escalated to a point that people are surprised. Are you surprised?
Look, there's been a lot of petty comments in the last few weeks, and I'm not going to comment on them.
Is your plan to play more European Tour events going forward?
My plan is to try and win this golf tournament. That's my plan.
You know, it's funny, I was telling someone the other day that I got the first thank yous from a couple players out here for what LIV has done for the rest of professional golfers. So it's been a pretty warm welcome. Obviously, there's been a few guys that have had some comments about some things, but for the most part, it's been very warm.
You mentioned some comments specifically. Billy Horschel actually used your name, saying that some players in this week's field had never played in this event before, and it seems like you're chasing after world ranking points. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I actually talked about it on Twitter. You know, I think that comment was just a little bit unfair and a little hypocritical. Obviously, he's done great for all of professional golf and all of international golf, DP World. He's had a great status out here. I mean, he's won this tournament, right? So he's done great. But for me, this is my first time I've qualified for this event, and so for him to just use me and use Abe Answer, who has supported this tour as well over the years, I thought that was a little bit unfair. Obviously, we're all trying to chase world ranking points. I think I said that on Twitter as well. If anyone inside the top 50 in the world rankings over the last decade are saying that they haven't set their schedule with world ranking points in mind, I think that's a lie. That's part of the game, and that's part of what we're doing, is trying to improve our world ranking. Obviously the choice that I made going to LIV, I knew what I was taking on with the possibility of not having world ranking points, and but I also took that on knowing that there was going to be some events like this that I had to earn my way into these events so that I could still play a couple here and there to try to uphold my world ranking through the end of the year to try to get into the majors next year.
Do you feel welcome this week?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been fine. Players, fans. It's like the elephant in the room. I feel like It's not about friendships. It's not about kind of me changing as a person. I feel like I'm still the same guy that's done as much as he could for this tour over the years. I'm here to play golf this week. You know, I'm not here to stir up any trouble. I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm just here to play some competitive golf that I kind of dearly need at the minute. You know, just looking at my own game and where it is right now, I just need to play golf.
The vitriol right now between players, not even fans or social media, has that surprised you at all?
The vitriol on social media is surprising for sure, but yeah, players, like speaking to guys this week, I don't feel huge amounts of anger coming this way. You know, I feel like nearly every player on this range would have done exactly what I did if they'd been given that opportunity. You know, aside from the big players in the world that, you know, are doing just fine where they're at. You know, so, you know, I don't, you know, this is more just about the DP World Tour as a whole and kind of where it's going. And to me, it's simple as far as my opinion on kind of the, you know, to me, I'd like to expedite the process of getting to where the players decide whether they want LIV players to come and play in the DP World Tour in the future. And if they don't, well, that's fine. I'll get on with my life, you know. If they would, if they feel like there is some value add there, then let's somehow make that decision and move on, you know. So this unknown, this lack of clarity coming over here, and guys in the corner of the lounge whispering, and, you know, that's not healthy, right? You know, one of the things that I made sure I did was talk to BMW before I came here. I didn't want to bring any negativity to a sponsor of mine for the last 20 years. You know, when they felt like they were in a neutral position, and you know, this is a fantastic field. It's a great golf tournament, always has been, and I'm happy to be some sort of an addition this week.
One of the storylines this week is this is the beginning of the Ryder Cup qualification process. You've been a part of so many of those teams in different capacities. Have you wrapped your mind around the idea that you might not be able to be involved in those teams going forward?
I've wrapped my mind around every consequence. I've wrapped my mind around kind of not ever being a Ryder Cup player or a Ryder Cup captain again, you know, and it hurts my heart, you know. It's something I care deeply about, but at this point in my career, I have to make decisions that are financially based in this situation. You know, as I move into the sunset of my career, you know, I'm walking away from something that's a huge honor, but, you know, it's not going to do much for my financial future, I guess. But it was a really hard one, and that was a big part of the, you know, there was a plus column and there was a minus column. And that was well up the minus column, you know, and it was a very difficult one to leave on the table. And you know, as we move forward, who knows? But you know, I certainly don't have a great feeling about sort of you know, any LIV player involvement in Italy next year, and that's going to be hugely disappointing when you look at those names.
Graham admitted that he considered withdrawing this week, and he also says he understands the pushback that he's getting from certain players, and he actually suggested that maybe there should be a players' vote to decide if the members want those LIV players to come and play European Tour events and if they add any value. Now, it should be said that Rory McIlroy was asked about the idea after his round, and he pretty much dismissed it, saying that for every action, there is a consequence.
Well, a lot of storylines coming out of Wentworth this week, but of course the biggest one coming out of the United Kingdom today is the death of Queen Elizabeth II. As a result, play suspended currently on the DP World Tour. So the schedule on Friday now looks as follows. Begins with the PGA Tour Champions at 1 p.m. Eastern before the LPGA at 4.